I think it's really interesting that nobody talks about this. I think it's really sad that nobody talks about this. It's all of a sudden you find yourself 52 years old or 51 or something or 50, and you just start feeling all these feelings and you're going, what's this? But nobody talks about it. What's up with that? So these are important things, and anybody like your own kids, before they get to that point in their life, it's important that you talk to them about this. We're going to cover this today, and we're going to get into it deeper, and be sure to read next week's Insight, Linda's weekly guided insight, because it gets into the depth of this, all right? This is what they're going to be talking about in that insight, and share that with your teenager or your young adult, your 20-year-old, your 30-year-old child, give them a heads up on what's coming. You didn't get it, but definitely let them know that 20-year span, that 20 years before they're 52, or just another 25 years or whatever, that goes pretty quick. And they have to have a plan. It's not just all about what they can give to a family or all about what they can, do for someone else. They've got to be doing some planning on their own and tuning into themselves. Again, it comes back to that guidance, doesn't it? It comes back to having that connection to where you came from, and relying on that and building that and developing that and working with that and writing those instances of guidance into part 3 of your journal, okay, and keeping track of it so that you've got better answers for you and for the ones you care about.
I've made some observations in our angel coaching sessions with Linda. A lot of the people are at that age, 52, but it kind of starts a little earlier, and then it kind of goes kind of right through maybe to 53. Right. There was always something in their life that triggered them to put them in the situation they are now with their family or with their spouse, or their spouse has died maybe, and it started a couple years before, or they start to feel antsy, they start to feel anxious, they don't know what they're going to do with their future. They're
asking these questions.
They're asking themselves a lot of questions like, why am I not employable?
Yeah, why did everything change so much?
Right. They find themselves basically unemployable. They don't want a menial job. They want to do something of value.
Right.
So they start volunteering. A lot of them start volunteering. A lot of them start their own business at that age, around that age.
True.
A lot of them go back to what they really wanted to do when they were teenagers or in their early 20s, or what they studied for in college, and they never got to do it because maybe they got married right out of college and had babies.
Right.
Yes. We met, didn't we?
What happened when you were 52?
I met Linda when I was 52, and Linda was 51, and we got married when I was 53, and she was 52.
Right. But what led up to you turning 52 and us meeting? Okay, you didn't meet me when you were 52. You were already halfway there. You were 52 and a half when we met.
Right.
So what, 51, 52, Ray, what happened in Ray's life just before you hit 52?
Right. So that was 2004. Now I was 52.
Right.
And you were 51. Looking back, 4 years before that, 3 or 4 years before that.
Not 3 or 4.
Well, I bought a home.
Right.
I bought a second home in Sedona.
Where
you lived.
Right. And your first home was in Texas.
Right.
Okay, so he was breaking out.
Things were lining up.
Things were like literally being put on his path, right in front of him, and all you did was step into it, right?
Right. I mean, I didn't have plans to buy a home in Sedona. A friend of mine called me up and said he was moving to Hawaii and do I want to buy his house.
Right. And Ray comes out and he buys the house.
Right.
In short, he buys the house. He did his due diligence, he did all that. But the whole point is you were making some pretty radical moves, changes.
Right. I had visited him.
You were still married.
I had visited my friend quite a bit and liked Sedona, and I was fortunate enough to have a business where I could do it from anywhere. So, I mean, it's not like you can go to Sedona and start a business. It's a pretty small town.
Right.
So I was there for 4 years on and off before I ran into you.
Right.
So what happened to you right prior to the time we met?
I left Sedona. I had lived in Sedona for over 20 years, and then I left Sedona and found myself right back in Sedona 2 years after I left. It was not what I expected. I pulled out of Sedona. I sold all my real estate. I got rid of everything. And I never intended to come back to Sedona, ever. And I did. I wound up coming back to Sedona by some kind of a fluke. I had a boyfriend at the time, and he drugged me back to Sedona. And then when I came back to Sedona, everybody that knew me, and everyone knew me before I left, they all wanted me to stay. Oh, Linda, don't, come back to Sedona. So I went back and I, got a place and remodeled it. And within a month and a half, 2 months after I was done with it, Ray and I meet by coincidence. Of course, there are none.
Coincidence, twice the same day.
Right.
But there's some things that happened before that, before you started to move back, when you started doing this.
Right. I started going like this on my wedding finger. And I'd been divorced. I'd been on my own for 6 years at the time. And I had no plans of getting married again or any of that. And it started coming through a year before that. It was a year before that started happening. A year and a half before Ray and I met.
Would that be called guidance or a sign?
That was a sign. What that was. And I instantly knew it was a wedding. I was going to be getting married. I mean, it's just guidance. If you don't let it scare you, alarm you, throw you off. I didn't think about it too much, but I did remember it. So there's that 50, I was like 50 at the time, 50, 51, moving into it, 50. Mm-hmm. And met Ray when I was 51. And then, we got married within 10 months of the time we met. Crazy. And we've been together for 14 years now. And it's been the best relationship for each one of us, Mm-hmm. And the project and everything we're completely aligned with. It's like it's meant to be, when it's meant to be. So 52, age 52. Before that, Ray and I only had dysfunctional relationships. We didn't know what having a real functional relationship was all about. And we had to get to that point in our life where we were ready for each other, So that's how 52 worked out in our lives. Yeah.
Right.
But we've worked with a lot of clients. We've got coaching clients from around the world.
16 countries now.
Yeah. And a lot of them are right in that age group, like say mid-40s to 65, right in there. A large group of people in that area. We have them above, and we even have them, younger than that. But that's a big chunk of them. And they're either just moving into that, and they can feel it. Like around 45, 46, 47, you can feel something is kind of like taken over. You feel pushed. You feel like it's a timing thing. You feel like you need to use your time better. Like you don't want to miss it, but you don't know what it is. It's an interesting feeling.
And you start thinking about, am I running out of time?
You start thinking stuff like that. And then when you turn 50, you start going, ooh, 50, yay. 50, am I old yet?
Well, they start thinking about retirement. And
am I supposed to be retiring?
Well, a lot of people can't retire due to the financial, to the economy, to the financial burdens that are on people. And if they are single or, they're living on a fixed income, they're looking at it as, well, maybe retirement's something my parents did, and I won't be able to do it. And back there, when we were kids, people retired at age 59. And I remember my friends' parents, they were dead at 61, 62.
Right.
They had nothing to do in their life. They had no purpose in their life to do anything.
They didn't have enough time to find their purpose. But I mean, they were too busy having the family and raising the kids and everything for everyone else that they ran out of runway before they had any time at all to go about, doing something in this life that they felt really left a legacy that mattered. That once they finally got to that point in their life where they were mature enough, where they understood enough. What was it Katrina said today? Katrina sent us a response on
about
Facebook
the Indians?
About the Indian woman.
Indian women.
And what did she say?
That there's some of the Indian cultures believe that a woman isn't fully grown until she's 52.
Right. So she doesn't have valuable wisdom until she's 52 because she hasn't lived enough life yet, right?
Right.
So that's it. Now, this is true for men too, you guys. This isn't just women. This, as we explained how this worked in our own life, Ray and I, how 52 was, it was a massive change. I mean, before that, it was just more of the same, like with family members and stuff. It was just more friction, more evident that the family wasn't going to be the answer in my life going forward. And I mean, I knew it all along, but it was solid. It was solid proof by the time I was 50. And Ray too. It was solid that they were going their own way.
They're going a different direction.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, here's something else interesting.
So can I just finish my
Sure.
So it's a striking difference when you hit that 50 mark, that 50, 51, you feel it starting the end of your 40s, you're moving into it, that whatever the truth is, it is. Quit trying to pretend it's something else. Those days are over. You can't pretend anymore. Now, everything you do takes more effort. Everything. So you cannot add pretending and making stuff up to the pile of already more demanding everything that you have to go through to it. You don't need more pressure. You don't need to add more pressure on yourself, which is what that would be.
Right.
So it's time to clear all that up. That's why this is all happening, and this is why you're here.
Well, that's why the guy said 52 is the time you have to address the trapped and unresolved emotions that you've been dragging around with you for 5 decades. Right. The family drama. Are you going to put up with it? Are you going to face it and diffuse it, walk away from it, or are you going to drag it with you for another 52 years? Now, I saw something interesting in my life, and maybe your life too, but 52 has a half-life. So half of 52 is 26. What were you doing at 26? I got married at 26. 26
is another, 26, 27, 28, right in there, same kind of range. Major changes go on in anybody's life. It's a major change. And like Ray said, you get married, then you have kids. And it's a major change, okay? So and that's the half-life, Ray. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, half of that. And then I mean, when you were 20, you got married young. I mean, I thought I waited a while. A lot of my friends were already married. I was 26 and before I got married, but that was interesting. At 26, I got married the first time. 52, I met you, and we got married. I got married the third time.
Right.
But then you add another 26 years to 52, and you have 78. And what each one of those 26-year cycles has in common is one thing. You know what it is? Babies. 26 years old, you're having kids, you're having babies.
You're having your own.
52 years old, your kids are grown. Now you got grandkids.
Right.
And
78 comes the
Great grandkids.
Right. That's right. So it's the new generations are
Boom,
coming
boom, boom. It's
Right.
perfect. I mean, it's
Right.
babies, babies, babies.
in. Right.
I mean, right in the middle, a lot of people, their retirement plan is to spend more time with the grandkids, if they can afford to do that. If they don't have to work.
Right.
But I think that's kind of interesting. And then I'm sure if 26 might have a half-life too, 13.
Oh yeah, that's puberty.
Okay.
That's huge.
All right.
That's when you get your new identity. When you hit puberty, you become a different person. Remember? Some of us became monsters.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever it took. In my case, it pushed me right out of the house because I had to get out of there. I was in a dangerous situation. And I finally had the extra, I guess, energy or I don't know, just the instinct to push through it. And that's what I did. I wasn't 13, I was 16 when I got out, but yeah, those are they move you through the door. You're being pushed through that door. So it happens at 13, it happens at 26, 27, 8, and it happens at 50.
39. Next one's 39.
Right.
13 more years. What's going on at 39? You're turning 40,
Yeah, that's another big transition. If you look back on your life and you track this, you'll see what we're talking about. This is not make-believe. This is not making stuff up. This is real. And this point at 52 years old is huge, okay? So it's an interesting time. Your life is absolutely going to change. And 52 years old, you will never be the same, ever. You will never be the same. And you guys know about the 52 card playing deck, right? It's a standard 52 card deck. You play rummy with it. You play poker with it. It's just the standard card deck. And there's 52 cards in that deck. Isn't that interesting?
So you've used up all your cards at 52, and you either check out, like a lot of people do,
right?
Or you get a new deck.
Right. You up for another deck,
right?
And keep playing you keep playing the game. You're still in the game. Mm-hmm. And so you could, anything could happen between that time and any time, but you decided to stay in the game, and you've got your new deck and your new life. But the difference between the first 52 years was easy. Your health came easy to you. Your looks came easy to you. Getting jobs was easy for you. You were desirable in the workforce. Okay, everything was pretty easy. I mean, the system was designed to move you through it and have a place for you. All right, but after 52, everything changed. Every single thing. It's not that it's hard after 52. It's that now you just don't get it handed to you. You don't have automatic great health. You have to exercise now. You have to eat the right food. You can't just have pizza every night. You can't get away with that anymore. So it requires more for you to be more conscious and for you to be more a part of your growth and your progress going forward, all right? And a mentor for other people. You'll see that. You'll have your own kids, your grandkids, and you'll see that play out.
It's interesting how this 13-year half-life and the 26-year half-life plays out. It goes 13, and then 26, and then 39, and then 52 is right in the middle. Right smack dab in the middle. Right. 65. Do you know anybody 65?
We are.
You're 65? I guess I like younger women. And then the next one would be 78. And then 91. We've had relatives, they died at 91.
Right, they died at 91. Right. And 91, 92, right in there, right?
And then you get in that 78 to 80-ish range, and that's like kind of the average age of men and women. Women live a little longer, statistically.
Yeah.
But that second 52 years, if you sign up for it, you better be up for it.
You've got to be up for it. You've got to roll up your sleeves and do the work. Where the first 52 years was kind of gratis, you know?
That 52 is your mid-course correction.
That's right, Ray.
That's right in the middle.
It is right in the middle. Right, right. So people who, when you finally hit that point where you're 52, it's also a relief because you know so much now. You've got so much more information than you ever had before.
Well,
you're sure of what you know, right?
And you know what you have more of? Time. Time alone.
Critical to learning who you are and why you're here. Critical, okay? What do we have, Ray?
Marla says she loves being in her 50s, but her looks don't open doors anymore.
Oh, she's adorable. But now, Marla, you just have to work the personality better.
There you go.
That's all. That's all it takes. And she's got a lot of that, right?
She
Ray?
certainly does.
She does.
What else happened right around the time 52 or right before 52 between us? I mean, in my life, before you met me.
Well, I'm going to speak for myself.
Okay.
Ray. Just before I met Ray, I was 51. I was right there in 51. I experienced probably one of the biggest disappointments I ever experienced, and it was with my daughter. And what's really funny about it is she's still, I'm sure she doesn't even know what she did. She doesn't even realize it. I never said anything. I just let it go. It was just another one of those things that had been building over the years, just more of the same. And in her eyes, it's just like, hey, that's the way it's always been. That's the way we treat you. And, you know, so what's wrong with that? She didn't see anything wrong with it. And she was too focused on her own self and everything. And I remember being greatly disappointed. I was really, really disappointed. A deep disappointment in my life. And it was right after that I met Ray. And it really topped it off because I was really tired of being disappointed in my life. I mean, if any of you have read my book, Guided, and most of you have, my book, Guided, it was one thing after another as far as the people in this world that were just a disappointment after another, just one after another, nonstop. And when I met Ray, it was a game changer for my life. It showed me things that I never thought could happen, could really, you know, happen in my life, and it did. And it's even though it was new to me, and even though it was scary because it was new to me, at that 51, 52-year-old time, I didn't miss it. I'm just amazed that I didn't miss it because I had nothing but disappointment in people up to that point. And I let myself have that.
Disappointment.
That may not have happened unless I was at that critical age. That may not, my door for that may not have opened inside me for allowing that to come to me, all right? That's another thing, is you have more potential. You open up to things that you never would have been open to before because after all, you guys, it didn't work out. Time and time again, it didn't work out, right? So it's like I let this work. I didn't get in the way of it. I wasn't so disappointed that I didn't let it in. Go ahead, Ray.
What's interesting is that in 2003 is what you're talking about. The year before we met.
Yeah.
You were 51. I was 52. And disappointment kind of ruled that year of our life before we met.
It did. It did for you too.
Right.
Because what happened?
Found out my wife was having an affair.
Interesting, huh?
So disappointment.
And this is a 20-year marriage Ray was in.
Right.
Not a happy marriage.
No.
Okay, it was a compromised marriage. He decided to stay in, and actually, her affair set him free. It's
right.
the way it played out. Now, at the time, he couldn't see that, right?
Right. It was disappointment.
This is all the 52 energy kicking in, you guys. Go ahead, Ray.
So disappointment is a big deal around age 52.
It is. It is.
People
It
get to
is.
52 and they're disappointed with what they've accomplished in their life.
They're disappointed with their kids.
They're disappointed with their kids. They're disappointed with their spouse. They're disappointed with their job.
Right. With where they're at in life.
Right.
They are.
They live a comparison type life when, my friend is my age and look what she or he has or what they've done and,
Right.
and it makes them feel more disappointed.
Right. Disappointment is a big one
It's a tough one.
at 52 years old.
Right.
It's time to reflect. Okay? That's why the disappointment's there. It's not there to hurt you. It's there to show you that it hasn't been so good after all. Those guys weren't so great after all. You've got a whole lot more in front of you, okay? Now it's your turn to make yourself feel good and happy. It's your turn to satisfy that urge inside of you and follow that guidance. It's your turn to trust yourself, believe in yourself, and love yourself. It's your turn.
This is about the time, too, 52, early 50s, especially women, I think, because that's the majority of our coaching clients.
Yeah, it is.
That they don't know the difference between lonely and alone.
Well, they do by the time they hit 52, Ray.
They're thinking about it.
Yeah, but if at 52, you're feeling like
they're alone, maybe for the first time in their life.
It could very well be. Finally. And when you're alone for the first time in your life and you don't know how to do that, it can feel like something's wrong. You could actually question that and go, well, shouldn't I have someone in my life? Doesn't anyone love me? I mean, what's it all about? You start thinking.
That's the other side. That's the lonely part.
Right.
It's okay to be alone.
Right.
All right? If you're comfortable with yourself and you know who you are and you love yourself, it's good to be alone.
It is.
But lonely is different. Feeling lonely, the loneliness is a feeling of other people don't care.
And that is actually an insecurity that you've been dragging along for the first 52 years, where you were still learning to know who you were. You were still learning to trust what that was. You were still learning that you are enough, that you're pretty enough, that you're smart enough. And if you're not pretty enough, you're something else enough, okay, that makes pretty look pretty low on the scale. I mean, there's a lot more than just what you look like. But in the first 52 years, you guys, looks came easy. It was all just easy. It was given to you. It was natural to have all that, okay? You didn't have to work for that. And you got people, everyone, they looked at you, they admired you, they whatever. Okay, now you have to put some effort into it. You've got to work at it. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody had that friend or that one or two friends that ate all the wrong stuff and drank a lot and partied a lot, and they still look young. They still have their looks and everything else, and they go, oh, isn't he or she lucky? A lot of it could be genes, but this is the time, like you said, you have to start working on it.
You might look good on the outside, some of those instances like this, but it doesn't mean you're healthy on the inside.
Well, no.
Yeah. So that's when 52, as you move through that and get older, you can't get away with it anymore. You might be able to eat it and look good, but your doctor, you go get a checkup and your doctor says, oh, your cholesterol's out of whack, your hormones are a complete mess, all kinds of problems that you're having that are attributed to poor eating habits, bad not getting exercise,
habits of distraction,
too much stress. That's another thing at 52. At 52, you will feel more stress hit you than you've ever felt before. It will surprise you, and you will sit back and go, I can't believe this. I don't even know. I can't relate to this. I don't even know how to deal with this. Okay? It's all hitting you at once. It's pushing you through the door. It's slamming the door on the first 52 years. And it's traumatic. All right?
There's another thing we didn't talk about. You mentioned hormones.
Oh, boy.
Women.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and men. But
Yes, right. Definitely men. Definitely men.
Yeah.
Men have a horrible time with hormones. They just don't get the same attention women get.
right.
Yeah.
So you're going through hormonal changes at 52. You're going through family changes. You are alone,
Right.
which is something you should be so overjoyed with, that you now have time to.
For yourself.
Right. You have time to meditate. You have time to go to the yoga class. You have time to work on your health. You have time to work on
Right.
on
Right.
the things you're interested in. You wanted to be an artist when you were young, and now you can paint now.
You could try these things out.
Right.
Right.
Because you have time. You got your time back.
You know, that's really all you have in this life, you guys. People measure things with money. Oh, I've got my money. Well, your money might be there one day and gone the next, all right? But the only thing you have is your time. That's what you have while you're here. Money will come and go, and it's okay, and it's great. Who doesn't like having money? It takes the pressure off. But it's your time and how you use your time that will make the difference, okay? That's what matters.
That's what you should ask yourself. How am I going to spend
My time.
for the next 52 years?
Right. What's important to me? What do I want to spend another day of my life doing? If I have one more day of my life, what is it I would be doing? You have to get real with this. This journal, My Guided Journey, will walk you back through the first 52 years, those early years, actually before the first 52, when you first got here. So you can uncover and decipher what happened in your early life and find out what's blocking you in any particular place. And once you've identified that, you can see it. Now it's on paper and you can see it. These next 52 years, you guys, will make sense to you. You will finally be getting real with your life. Your life will no longer just be another party, another vacation, another job, another relationship, it won't be just another one of those things. You've done all that. It's more about why you came here. Why are you here? What is it you intended to accomplish this time around? And that's why this connection to your guides and to yourself is so amplified at age 52.
So, why is it so important? When you're trying to heal all these things, the disappointment,
Right.
the loneliness, the don't know what I'm going to do with my next 52 years, the doubt, the fear.
Yeah.
Am I gonna run out of money?
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Those insecurities.
all this stuff.
Yep.
Why is it so important to start writing it down if you're trying to heal this?
Because you can't do what, Ray? You can't heal it until you feel it.
Right.
Until you get real with it. See, it's finally time for you to get real with yourself. It's your time. And it's your turn. And you've got to get back to where it started, to uncover what happened back there, so you can uncover that hidden knowledge that's been waiting for you to be ready. That's what that is. So that's what 52 is. 52 gives you a second chance. It's your second life. You've got all this information. You're finally alone, where nobody's pulling on you and grabbing for more from you. Do this for me, buy this for me, send me to college, do all this stuff for me. Now it's all about you. And even though that's an abrupt reality, all right, it feels kind of like, wow, what's that? And some people have a hard time being compassionate with themselves enough to let themselves breathe into that and explore that and have that. It goes back to the beginning. You're going back to the start, where you had yourself originally. You got lost, okay, and your guides watched you get lost, And now you're getting quiet again. You're getting quiet. And you're open. And now anything is up to happen. Anything can happen, okay? Because you're open again. You're not so blown away with distractions, and I do mean blown away with distractions. Your life, you've been pulled along almost like this. Like, you have to do this now. You have to make that now. You have to help them now. You've got to do, everything was for somebody else. Now it's for you. That's an odd feeling. That just hits you all at once, and you're like, but no, I wanted to have I wanted to enjoy grandkids. I wanted my family to love me. I wanted them to, and if it's not meant to happen, then stop it. I had to stop it. Stop it. And get down to why you're here. Whatever our path is, you guys, we're going to be more on it at 52 years old. It's going to be just slam you there. And that's why writing this down, the beginning of your new life, are you kidding? Don't miss it the second time. You need to start journaling, part 3, and you need to start your journey, part 2, to uncover what's been laying dormant all these years, all right? So you've got a foundation to launch from at 52 that makes sense, not just more nonsense and gibberish and make-believe, okay? Because that's not going to hold your life together at all. That's going to lead you down a path that's filled with regret. That's what that is.
Yeah, and people think that a journal is like a diary. It's not a diary. A diary is something you write down what I did.
Right. It's a mechanical. It's a mechanical reporting.
What happened? This happened.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
My guided journey. The journal is
the journey.
The journey is how you feel about what happened.
Right. Right. You're putting yourself back together again.
Like Humpty Dumpty.
Right. So at 52 years old, you want to be running on your own inner truth. You want this to be the truth. You don't need more make-believe. You don't need more illusions. You don't need more pretending and making stuff up and saying, you know, Uncle Joe, he's really a nice guy. You know, after all, you know, yeah, he raped my little sister and stuff, but he didn't really mean it. Yes, he did. He did too mean it. He did it. He meant it. It's not okay. Okay. And Uncle Joe is a jerk. Okay. A major jerk. Okay. It's time to take the rose-colored glasses off. See things for what they are. And see you for who you are. So you can finally live the life you intended. Okay. 52 years old. That's what this is all about. So for some of you, that could be that. You see where the disappointment's destined to happen? You've got to let go of that. Pretend.
It's time to stop making stuff up.
Right. Pretending it's something it's not.
Right.
Because it hasn't worked out very well, has it?
No.
So 52 is about getting real with your life. No more games. Take care of your health. Get your exercise. Get your sleep. Write in your journal. Know what's going on with you. Have real people in your life. No more superficial people. No more nonsense and all that's nonsense too. So just the real thing. It's about being with the real thing and in the real thing.
And it's about the time in most people's lives when they realize it's difficult to do it on their own. It's difficult to go back and look at your life for the last 52 years and write about your fears and your disappointments and, you know, the things that didn't work out the way you wanted to. Because, you know, when people have a tendency when they look back and they talk about the past, they tend to make it a lot better than it really was.
Absolutely. That's called make-believe.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
They gloss over some
In fact, you guys, watch what goes on around you. You see people and their age, and then you see how they're conducting their life. Are they and if they're doing what Ray's talking about, they're pretending even more, and it looks so artificial. It's so obvious that they're just full of it up to here. All right. It looks fake. Anybody can see through it.
They even have a word for it. They call it the good old days. That's how they describe it. Well, back in the good old days, well, they weren't that good.
No, whoever called it the good old days, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff that happened, and there's a lot of stuff that, quite frankly, I could have done without, you know? And it wasn't by choice, my choice, that I wanted to be in that. But there I was, and, you know, I did what I could with this situation, but boy, did I see through it, you know? And now, at 52, in that regard, it was a blessing for me, because I'd always looked reality square in the eye and seen things for what they were. And it made me an outcast throughout my life. All of a sudden, at 52, it felt really like I felt really good, because now finally, you know, I wasn't being criticized. Well, I still am criticized, I guess. I'm not around those people, right? I wouldn't tolerate that. But when I was before 52, my work environment, I'd be around people, I couldn't get away from them. They were there, and they would criticize that, or the family members would criticize that, or whoever. There were always plenty of critics, right? But now, I'm just as happy as a lark, just working on our project all the time, and I mean, I'm doing better work than I ever have, and it's because I'm left alone, and I'm happy with it, you know? It feels, Ray too, we are disgustingly peaceful, and we get a lot more work done because we're on the same page, looking in the same direction, and, you know, as focused and committed to our work together. How cool does it get, you know? And that was guidance, Ray, that just dropped that in each other's laps, you and me. And we knew it. You knew it before I knew it.
Yeah.
No, I have to say, Ray knew it before I knew it. What kept me from knowing it is the part I said earlier, where I could have missed it, because I was so on guard. I was so disappointed with so many things. People, you know, in this world, not the guides, but the people in this world, that I wasn't real open to letting just anybody into my life. No way. And Ray, as far out as it was in Guided, in my book Guided, in part 4, there's 4 parts to Guided. In part 4, Ray shows up, all right?
That's my favorite part. That's where you live happily ever after.
What about you, Ray?
And I lived happily ever after. I was just thinking about, as you were describing that, the good old days, you had to postpone all your good old days. You didn't have a lot of good old days until you were out of the house.
Oh, yeah.
And
right.
working in your own businesses.
Right.
That's where the good old days started for you, and you were 20.
Right. You're right, Ray.
I mean, it's hard to believe that a child, or anybody who's 52 or 60 or 65 now, can look back at their childhood and can't remember any good old days. Well,
I remember good things because of the guidance I had, and always had them with me.
Right.
But largely, it was a battle, and I had to watch my back, man, all the time. So, you know, I just have a whole bunch of gratitude because of it all, though. You know, I mean, I feel so lucky that I get to do the things I get. I've always said that. I always have said that. I'm so lucky I get to do the things I do, the things I've always gotten to do. And, you know, for me, 52, Ray and I meet. It was a magical time, and we've been doing this stuff ever since, moving in this direction. And it's just, what else is there, Ray? You know, it's a great feeling. Everybody we work with, it's amazing. Every single person is over the top awesome, okay? And I've never had a business in my entire life where I've experienced that. Because there's always been the greed factor involved, you know, a lot of money and stuff like that. So there's always been that edge that was always in it, like fingernails on a chalkboard, right? So it was always there. This flip-flop at age 52 for Ray and I has just...
Yeah, and I think the biggest change for me, I was always in a business for like 25 years where I helped people make big transitions in their life.
True.
Right. I mean, in the
recruiter, he was
executive search business.
Right.
I mean, I've interviewed 50,000 people.
I know.
I mean, that's a lot of people to talk to.
Ray likes to talk.
I do, but what I see now.
But he likes to help. See,
What we
that's the
do-
whole point with Ray. The core with Ray, and from knowing him, is he really does like to help people. And he likes people. Go ahead, Ray.
What we do now is help people transition through the coaching business.
Right, right.
And people are in that age group, the 40s to 60s age group, and they're wondering, what do I do now?
They are.
And nobody in their family is giving them good direction, because if you're trying to evolve spiritually and evolve as a person and evolve as your own person, you're going to lose a lot of friends and you're going to lose a lot of family members because they don't want you to change.
Right, and they don't know how to think about it, Ray.
Right. They don't know how to change.
No.
And that's when you need some help, and that's where the coaching business comes in. I mean,
Right, and that's where the guidance comes in, you guys.
out of
52.
that was a lot of information about 52.
Do we have anybody asking us any questions?
Kimberly Jager says she thinks she's there now, and she's turning 46 in January.
Yeah,
Well, you're in the edges of it.
Yeah, you're beginning to feel that rush, that edginess, that uncomfortable feeling, that it's the time thing you're feeling now. You're feeling like, ooh, am I running out of time? Do I have enough time? What do I do with my time? Am I using it right? What's time? You start really wondering right like that, and you feel the pressure of that thing hitting you, and what's happening is your 52 card deck is just about played out.
Right.
And that's the timing. You can never go back, okay? You can only go forward. And at 52, you want to do everything you can imagine to be ready when that hits. So you're not knocked down and debilitated by it, but empowered by it.